12 o'clock hour of the lunch break. Appreciate you starting your week with us here. Hope everybody had a great weekend as well. Now, producer Evan, I've heard back because you like to do this from time to time where you like to start feuds with listeners of the program. And you started a feud in hour number one, or continued a feud, I should say, with Paul. And I'm the in-between. I'm the go-between because he emails into the show. I read said emails, and then I have to tell you about said emails. And so you said that you're upset with Paul in hour number one and he didn't offer this to you as like actual advice. You just took it as such because he sent in an email on Friday after we got off the air, putting it into the record who he was picking for the Kentucky Derby. You, I guess, took that as a gift, and you're like, gotta back Paul's horse. Sandman, gotta do it. How'd it work out for you? Didn't work out at all.
Didn't work out.
Now, Paul has responded. I only lost $6. I just like this. I just like taking the second betting favorite across the board, not looking for big returns. And then he said, how he watches, and then he said, sorry if you lost money. Now, listen, Paul, you don't have to apologize to me. And honestly, Paul, you don't have to apologize to Evan. This is 100% on him. It is 100% on you.
I also bet $5 on Sandman. It's not like
Paul has a bigger gripe than you do because he bet more.
Yes. Yeah, no, 100%. I was just messing with Paul. It's all good fun. And my horse guy, he told me to bet Sovereignty.
So you have wait a minute. You have another horse guy.
Yes, but okay, so
please explain yourself.
So my brother and I, for a while there, we're going to the Belmont every year.
Okay.
Tons of fun. And one of my brother's like college good buddies has two friends that like are horse guys. And so
okay, wait a minute.
And so I don't know their names.
Wait a minute. Your brother has buddies.
Yes.
Who have buddies.
Who are horse guys. Yep. And so we text my brother's buddy every time his horse race comes on. And we're like, who do they like? And this year they said Sovereignty. He's good in the mud. And so I got that tip on Saturday.
And you ignored it because you were riding with Paul.
No, I bet both.
You bet both.
So I did win. So Paul shouldn't feel bad. I was just messing with Paul.
Yeah, Paul shouldn't feel bad at all.
No, I wasn't telling Paul to feel bad.
Paul, I apologize on behalf of the program that this is taken over the show today because you wanted to call out Paul in hour number one I didn't even give it out. He emailed after the show was over. We didn't even talk about it on Friday. You just took it on your own, and you're like, oh, I'm going to ride with Paul. This was after the show yesterday, up and down the hallway. Oh, Paul made a horse pick. I'm in. I'm riding with Paul. All right, good luck. Have fun.
I felt like that was a good way for Paul and I to get back on the same page.
And where did it lead us? Not on the same page. You and Paul feuding once again. You know who I'm feuding with? The Diamondbacks bullpen right now and the struggles that they have had. They have given away a ton of games this season. They almost gave away a game yesterday. And so what we decided to do, most of the morning meeting this morning was dedicated to this. We decided to put together the list. We put together a list of games that the Diamondbacks bullpen has given away this season because they are 5-6 in one-run games so far this season. ESPN put out a story this morning that listed one area of improvement for every team in baseball, and for the Diamondbacks, they listed the bullpen health and talking about the struggles that this bullpen has had across the board. But this is the list that we came up with, and we went in reverse order. We found this was the easiest way to do this. What do we want to do with yesterday's game, Producer Evan? Does it go on the list? They won the game.
They blew a save and a 6-run lead, but they won the baseball game.
They won the baseball game. They did have a blown save. If you look at the box score, it says blown save next to Shelby Miller's name because he did blow a save in the 9th inning after getting the first 2 outs. So if we're evaluating this on how the bullpen performed, the bullpen did not perform very well.
I think it goes into the category of what we're going to talk about here.
So you want to put it on the list?
I want to put it on the list.
So, all right, we'll put it on the list. I think it's the only game on the list that isn't a win, but we'll put it on the list because I do think it was.
Because it's arguably the worst one, other than the one that we'll get to on April 18th. But other than that,
that's the worst one.
That's the worst one, but I think this one's second. I know they won the game, but this one is bad, Chris.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, it's not great when you blow a lead the way that they did, and Shelby Miller, the guy that you've anointed to be your new closer, blows a lead in his second opportunity to
after
do so.
Getting 2 strikeouts almost immediately.
Yeah, no, I'm aware how bad it was. I was just trying to maybe give them the benefit of the doubt here on a Monday that they had a 7-1 lead and they still won the game, and it's not all bad, but all right, you want to put it on the list. I'm not going to argue too much. Friday, I want on the list because not going to Jalen Beeks against Kyle Schwarber is, I think we need to make a sub-list in the list of games that Torey Lovello made a mistake. This goes on that list. This goes on the sub-list of the list.
I have two off the top of my head. I'll tell you the second one when we get there.
I think the second one's on my list too. I think it's on the list that we put together this morning.
It is.
So that was Friday. Then April 26th, they play the Braves. Jalen Beeks allows 3 runs in the 7th inning. They lose that game. April 24th, 2 days prior, Torey Lovello decides, you know what? Just going to roll with Ryan Nelson. Just going to keep him out there for his 17th inning of work in this game instead of going to Shelby Miller, who I had ready and available, and they blew that one. And then the 18th, the meltdown in Wrigley Field. You scored 10 runs in the 8th inning, and then in the bottom of the 8th, you give it all back. Those are the games. 5 games in total already that the Diamondbacks bullpen has given away. 4 of those 5 resulted in losses. They were lucky yesterday to escape with a win. Those are the 5 games that we're putting on the list. Is it the Nelson game that you wanted to add to the sub list?
It is the Nelson game. I have another one that they won that I'll give it to you.
Okay.
This wasn't a meltdown, but this is another bad Torey day. And that is, I believe it was Thursday in New York when he leaves.
When he didn't go to Beeks?
And he doesn't go to Beeks.
And he went to Ginkle and almost cost himself the game?
Yes.
Yeah, that wasn't great either. They won that one too. But you look at the standings right now. The Diamondbacks, 5 games back of the Dodgers. I have 4 games on this list that they lost because of their bullpen. Now, they're not all on Torey. 2 of them are on Torey. 2 of them, I think, you make a different decision and perhaps you win the game. Your guys got to perform. Torey Lovello can only do so much. He can pick the guys that are going to go in there. They're the ones that have to execute. Now, are there times where you pick the wrong guy? Yeah, I think on Friday, not going to Beeks was a mistake. I think that was a mistake. I think it was a blunder. Before Schwarber hit the home run, I thought it was a mistake. And again, it's not like he avoided Beeks altogether. He went to Beeks later in the game.
And I can't, in my head, was Thursday you didn't go to Beeks in the 8th to save him for that spot.
You want him for that moment.
Spot.
Yep.
And they didn't use him. And when you didn't use him Thursday, I was like, okay, you play for tomorrow. You still got the win. And then they get to the spot on Friday that was like, wow, Torey, he may have managed it well because he saved Beeks to face Schwarber and Kepler, who's going to come up in this inning, and you didn't get him again.
Well, the interesting thing about the Beeks decision on Friday in particular, and we talked about it on Thursday of why he didn't go to Beeks, and Beeks has worked a lot here at the start of the season. So I understand wanting to take it easy, but the reason why you don't pitch him on Thursday is so that you can then use him during the Philly series in some high leverage spots. And I went and looked because I'm like, all right, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there are some numbers that they have that I don't have. Do you know that lefties against Jalen Beeks this season are hitting 176 with a 194 on base percentage? Righties are hitting 212 with a 316 on base percentage. I will tell you, when I looked at this last time, the average for lefties was closer to 200. So he's pitched better against lefties his last couple times out. This is your guy to face Schwarber in a 1-run game. It doesn't get more high leverage than that.
And I know Schwarber has been better against lefties this year, and it's shocking how good he's been against lefties this season. But that's not a career thing. It's not over his career. He's better against lefties. I'm still going lefty-lefty there.
Of course I am. Just like I wanted to go lefty-lefty against Soto in that spot in the 8th on Thursday against the Mets.
The 2 guys that could have burned them, like the 2 home run guys on Thursday, Friday, burned them because you didn't go to Beeks.
And you picked a lefty. You picked a lefty to face Schwarber.
But not your best one.
But not your best one. That's the problem. If you went with a different lefty, or a different pitcher altogether, you went with a righty, and you're like, well, he's had good numbers against lefties this season, so there are kind of some reverse splits right now, and that's how we wanted to attack it. Fine. I don't agree, but I can at least understand the mathematical, not to, listen,
I'm a huge nerd.
Not to get all nerdy here with everybody, but okay, the numbers tell me a story, and if that's the reason why you went with that decision and the numbers back it up, I'm on board. But you didn't. You went with a lefty, and you went with a lefty who you just called up a couple days ago. You didn't go to a lefty that has been with the team all season and has been lights out and has been dominant. You didn't go to your dominant lefty. You know what you did? You went to a guy who has been with your team for a matter of days. A guy who is 29, who's a career guy that's been back and forth to the big leagues and to the minor leagues. You didn't go with Jalen Beeks. So that one is not only the bullpen blowing it, but that one goes on a sub list of Torrey messing that up in the moment. And there are 2 of those on this list. For a team that's lost 4 games on this list, of the 5 that we mentioned, 4 they've lost. They're 5 games back of the Dodgers.
As soon as Castillo came into the game, you texted me, "Are you watching this?" And I was like, I can't believe it.
I can find the text message.
I can't believe that that's what they did there. I was sitting there trying to build these pool chairs we bought, also watching the game. Couldn't believe it. That's what I was doing.
I texted you after they took, after they used Murillo in the 6th inning. And I texted you and I said, Murillo getting the 6th in a 1-run game is all the proof we need that Torrey has a short pen tonight. And then after the 2 home runs, I said, imagine not using Jalen Beeks. Imagine having a lefty whose lefties are hitting 176 against them and not using him in that spot. And I've been the guy who defends Torrey. I defended Torrey from the meltdown on the 18th. That's not on him. That's on the guys not executing. Okay, players have to execute. You put guys out there in roles, they have to execute. But everybody knows you had Beeks available. That's your better lefty reliever. Don't try to play this cute game of trying to have him for a different spot or trying to avoid him. You have a 1-run game on the road in Philly after you just took 2 out of 3 from New York. Win this game today.
And that's the most important inning because when you look at the game, you have the 1-run lead at that point.
If you get through that,
inning, you can extend it. You have all the confidence.
And it's the bottom part of the order in the 8th and the 9th. You have to get through that juncture. And so I have to use my best reliever there.
And if the argument is, well, we're saving Beeks for Stott, Turner, Harper.
How'd it work out for you?
1, how did that work out for you? But 2, Stott, I'm not afraid of taking me deep. I'm not afraid of him beating me on one swing. Schwarber is the guy I have to get out.
Here's why you can't be afraid about lefties coming up later. If you get Schwarber and Kepler right then and there, and then you go score insurance runs, it doesn't matter the situation that Harper comes up in. Yes, I'm worried about facing Harper in a 1-run game in the 9th inning. I'm very afraid of that. But you know what? I need to keep it a 1-run game right here and then go get the insurance, which, by the way, is exactly what they did in the Wednesday game against the Mets. They got the insurance in the top half, and it proved to be crucial because the Mets rallied off of Justin Martinez, who we now know was hurt. And the reason why the Mets didn't walk off in that game is because of the 2 runs of insurance that the Diamondbacks got. So keep the lead at 1 and then get the insurance runs, and then you can put in whoever you want to face Harper because now you're facing him with a 2-run cushion or a 3-run cushion. It was a 6-run cushion yesterday, and it didn't matter. But they are giving games away. Some of it is just execution. Some of it is Shelby Miller has just got to be better yesterday after he gets the first 2 outs. Cannot have that blow-up inning. Others, it's Torrey making a bad decision, leaving Ryan Nelson in too long. On Friday, going to Castillo over Beeks. That's a mistake. Those ones haunt you. And yes, I can make a list of games that things went their way. The 5-run walk-off inning against Milwaukee. But I guarantee you if we did this list, the list of games that the bullpen has given away, much longer than the ones that the Diamondbacks have stolen here over these first 30-plus games.